Hi, all. Our today's topic is objects and classes in Java. So let's start our class. So while you're doing programming, there are two paradigms or two approaches are there. One is procedure-oriented programming and the other one is object-oriented programming. As we all know, while we are developing any application, we either will go for the procedure-oriented programming or object-oriented programming approach. So C language supports the procedure-oriented programming concepts, whereas C++ and Java supports the object-oriented programming concepts. So in C language, we the developer will always bother about dividing the larger number of program into submodules. Like we will mostly write the functions. How to divide the largest program into number of functions, we will bother about it. Whereas in object-oriented programming, the developers like we are mostly concentrate on dividing the large program into number of classes or number of objects. Let's try to understand what is an object. So in every object-oriented programming languages, it involves objects. So let's first understand what is an object. An object represents an entity in the real world that can be distinctly identified. So once again I'm telling, an object represents an entity in the real world that can be distinctly identified. Like if you want to say anything as an object, like I want to say something like chair is an object. So here anything can be a living thing or non-living thing. So if I want to say a chair is a object, how will I say? It is a real world entity. So I can say the chair is an object. I can say the fan is an object. Here some of the examples for an object is student, desk, circle, button, and even a loan, a bank loan can all be viewed as objects. An object has unique identity, state, and the behavior. So every object possesses something. Like every object has certain things, certain properties and behaviors. Let's understand first again from the basics. So I told you already, if you consider a chair is an object. If you consider chair is an object, so chair consists of some of the properties like what material they have used, whether it is a plastic chair or a wooden chair. So what are its you know that's what the properties in the sense. But otherwise, if you consider the student as an object, so what are the different properties of a student? Every student can have the properties like register number or age, gender. These are the properties. So every object consists of properties in order to uniquely identify from other objects. From other objects. Now we need to understand from here is if anything you want to say it is an object should be differently or uniquely identified. This is something different, this is something different. You have to think like that. So that if two are there, those two things are in different properties, like it is possessing some behaviors and another object is possessing some behaviors, then you can say these are the two different objects. So like every object consists of the properties, it also consists of some of the behaviors. Behaviors in the sense, an object behavior in the sense, what actually the object will do. The actual functionality of the, object. Suppose I told you already the student is an object. So what are its actual functionalities? Suppose what are its behaviors, the student behaviors. So the student behaviors can be curricular behavior or extracurricular behavior, something like that. So every object consists of two things. You should be very clear in this. So every object possesses of properties and behavior, and every object need to be uniquely identified. So let's go. Let's take, here, see here, the class name is circle, and every object consists of data fields and methods. Data fields, here see that data fields are nothing but properties. whereas methods are nothing but the behaviors. You can observe here a class template. I will discuss this later, so please go through it. So circle object 1. You see here circle object 1, circle object 2, circle object 3. I will discuss, don't worry. So it has 3 different circles here. So every object, you see every different objects like object 1, object 2, object 3 has 3 different fields like, radius 10 here, 25, 25 here, 125 here, something like that. So an object has both state and behavior. The state defines the object and the behavior defines what actually the object does. Once again, I'm repeating, an object has both the state and behavior. The state defines the object and the behavior defines what the object does. So class. So in the previous slide, we have seen a class template. You see, this everything, this total thing we used to call it is in a template. It is in a template. This total thing is we used to call it as a template. Let us discuss what is a class. A class is a collection of objects. See, you see here, like a class are constructs that defines objects of the same type. You see, a class or classes are the constructs that defines the objects of the same type. See, I told you initially the class is a collection of similar objects. Class is a collection of similar objects. It's very, very important. The objects which consist of the same properties and behavior we group into one class. The object which possesses the other behaviors and other properties we'll put it into the other class. So a Java class uses the variables to define the data fields and methods to define the behaviors. Not only in Java, in like Python or C++, any other object-oriented programming language, we use variables as a properties and the methods as a behaviors. So a Java class uses the variables to define the data fields. Here data fields are nothing but properties and the methods to define the behaviors. Additionally, a class provides a special type of methods known as constructors. We'll see what is a constructors later, which are invoked to construct the objects from the classes. Like I told you, from the class, we will take the, I told you, like class is a collection of, the class is a collection of same type of objects. If you pick up one object, that is what constructing, like you see here one statement is there, which are invoked to construct. Constructors are used to invoke the object from the class. Okay, don't worry, we'll discuss this one. So class, circle, open curly bracket. So here radius is there. You see, you just see once here. Yeah, here radius is there. This radius is nothing but the property of a circle. So here you see, get an area. Simply we say get area is a behavior. The circle will, actual thing is we will draw the circle in order to get the area. So the actual function. So you see, there are 2 constructors are here and we have one instance method is there. This one is called instance method or regularly a method. So a class consists of different, various fields, various data fields. Data fields are nothing but, properties and the constructors and the methods. So every class consists of the data members, constructors and member functions. Simply we can understand like that. Okay, so let's go ahead with this one. What are the different other things? What is actually the syntax of the class and all? So let's see the syntax of a class. So definition first. Okay, a class is user-defined data type that serve to define its properties. Once the class is defined, we can create a variables. You see, Class is something like a regular data type. You see int, float, char, double. These are nothing but data types. But these are built-in data types. Whereas class is a user-defined data type. Another examples of user-defined data types are arrays. Arrays are user-defined data types. You see, like arrays, a class is a user-defined data type. So once a class is defined, we can create a variables. So of that type using the declaration. That are similar like the basic type declaration. In Java, these variables are termed as instance of the classes, which are actual objects. So the basic syntax of a class is class. This is a keyword. Uh, class is a keyword. The class name is, you can put like any class name you can create. And which is there in the angular brackets, you see, which is there in the square brackets, which is an optional. This part is an optional. This part is an optional. So you can simply write class followed by class name, open curly bracket, and you have to write some of the properties and behaviors. Variable declaration and method declaration and closing. So this is how the basic syntax will look like. So let's go to the one of the example. One example we'll see, and then we'll move to the next concept. Yeah. So class rectangle, it has one property, length and width. There are two properties are there associated with this one. And you see how to add a method. So it's like a regular method. So how to declare a method? So whenever you are declaring a method, there should be a written type of a method name, parameter list, and we have open curly bracket, and method body you have to write, and closing curly bracket. So every method declaration consists of 4 basic parts: method name, return type, parameter list, and body of the method. So class rectangle, which consists of the int length, width, and I have here declared one method, that is void get data, which is parameterized method. So it has int x comma int y. So the x I am going to initialize to the length, and width I am going to initialize with the y, whatever values I pass it to the get data. Right? So this is one of the example I have created. Like if I want to create another method, you see one method is up to get here. One method you see here, yeah, this is one method. This is one method up to this one, and we have here another method. So there are two methods are declared, and we have two instance variables. Yeah. So first method consists of the get data, and the second one is rectangle area. That is what rect area. Okay, I have taken. And this get data, it's not that compulsory you have to keep the name as get data only. You can also give like set data. So it's a more accurate name is set data, but I do they are kept like that get data. So more accurate is set data. So this, if you use get data, yeah, I'm just interchangingly wording, like using the words set and get. So you can use either one. In order to set the values to in order to initialize the values to the length and width, I use the help of these instance methods, so that I can initialize the members of a class. So, all right. So let's see how to use this in our regular Java program. How to use this one in our regular Java program. Let us see. So how to create, before we are using it, we need to know about how to create an objects. In order to create an object, we require a class name. So you see here, objects in the Java are created using the new operator. We use new operator. With the help of new operator only, we will create the objects. The new operator creates an object of the specified class. We require a class and returns the reference to that particular object. You see here, the class name is what? In the previous slide we have seen. In the previous slide we might have seen the class name is what? In the previous slide you see the rectangle is the class name. Rectangle is the class name. So how to create an object for this one? We use a class rectangle like int space x. You see here something like that, int space x. So I'll use a class name rectangle space rect1. So this is our declaration. In order to assign the memory or initialize the memory, in order to instantiate it, in order to instantiate the object, we'll use new operator. So how will you use rect object name, rect1 object name is equal to new rectangle. This is the default constructor which is available, which is default, which is kept by the JVM by default, which is kept by the JVM by default. What is JVM and all we'll see in the, we have seen in the previous class, right? So let's go to the, how to use in the main program, how to use in the main program. So how to use in the main program. So before we will use in the main program, we'll see how to call the members of a class. Like here members can be, data members or member functions. So how to use it is with the help of the object name dot followed by dot we have to use, and then followed by variable name. You see object name is rectangle rect1, and the two objects are available. Those are, two instance variables are available. That is what length and width. We will use length. We'll take example as length. So in order to assign a value to the data member, we will use object name dot member name. That is what member variable is equal to some value we have to assign. So here we have to concentrate on the dot. So object name dot data member name. See, here comes the actual example illustration of the class and object. You see, this part is entire class. This class we are going to use in the main program. So how will you write the main program? As you know, we need to declare one class, and inside it we need to write the public static void main string args, and we need to have one, like this is our own example. I have taken two variables, area1 and area2. So I have created two objects. One is rect1, rect2. So I have initialized the length and width with the help of rect1 object, rectangle1 object. So first for the first rectangle, I kept 1 and 2 as values. I calculated with the help of, by using manually. I have, see here what I'm doing here. See here what I'm doing here is with the help of object I am calling the length and width, and I'm calculating some area and putting into the area1 object. What is secondly I'm doing, with the help of get data, I am passing the values 5 and 2 to the get data. This get data function is responsible for assigning this 5 and 10 to the length and width x comma y. Once again I'm repeating, in rectangle 2 in the second method I am using the rectangle 2 object, and with the help of the get data function I am passing 5 and 10 values. This 5 and 10 will be copied to x and y, and now this x and y will be copied, in turn will copy to length and width. Now the values are assigned here is 5 and 10. I am using rect area function which is already available in the rect class. So calculate the area 2. So now see, one thing is very clear. You can use the methods if you require. If you don't want to use the method, you no need of using it also. So here it is area 1 I've calculated and area 2 also I've calculated. So two different areas will get. See, I've told you already the constructors, right? So we'll see later. I told you in the very beginning. So what is a constructor? So a constructor is something like a method only. So we all know all objects are created need initial values. See, what are the different objects you have created? You need to initialize with the default values. In order to initialize with its default values, we use constructors. So constructor is a special method which is something which has the same name as a class name. Okay, I'll discuss, don't worry. So one approach for this is use dot operator, through which you can access the instance variables and then assign the values to them individually. Excuse me. So we all know, like I'm discussing this point again, this slide again. So we know that all objects, whatever objects we have created, we need to initialize the values. So you see, I have created the object rect1 in the previous class. You see, here it is. You see here in the previous class, I have created one object called rect1. This in turn will refers to the length and width, and these values I need to initialize. These values I can initialize by directly calling with the help of dot operator. One approach is this is use dot operator through which you can access the instance variables and then assign values to them individually. In the second approach, we need to use we use methods like getData to initialize each object individually. So whatever we have done, right, in the previous slide, you see in the second approach, what we have done, we have used the getData to initialize the members. So these are called instance variables, right? Instance variables and instance methods. All right. So Java supports a special type of method called constructor that enables an object to initialize itself when it is created. You see, whenever the object is created, at that time only you can initialize it. You see, here the object is created. This time only the Java can able to initialize the default values with the help of the constructors. So let's see how it is. You see here, this time we have used here rectangle. The class name rectangle, the method name is also rectangle. Then you should identify this method as a constructor. This method as a constructor. So let's see illustration of a constructor. So with this way you can write. You see here rect a is a class name. Rect a is a class name, and as well as here we have the rect a method. So that means this is the you see, I will use the drawing so that you will understand. Here we have same names. You see rect a. You can see another rect a is here. So that means you have two different constructors. We have two different constructors. One is parameterized constructor, and the other one is don't have any parameter, that is called default constructor. So every class may consist of the parameterized constructor or may not, but it consists of the default constructor. Even the developer are not responsible for placing the default constructor. The JVM is responsible for placing the default constructors to assign the default values. But if you don't want to assign the default values, you can assign your own values by using with the help of the parameterized constructors like this. Okay. Yeah. So please go through it. Please go through the program, then you'll understand. So I have created two different constructors with the help of, here we have two instance method, two constructors. So how we have rewritten the program, which we have already written in the previous program, which we have already written over there. So we have class rect area and public static void main. So you see rect1. Whenever you have used this rect a, default constructor will be called. The default constructor, when you have used default constructor, the default values will be initialized. Whenever you're using a static keyword, the default values are zeros, will be assigned. In the second approach, they have used the parameterized constructor here. The 10 and 20, the 10 and 20 will be passed to x and y, and these values will be assigned over here. This is one way, and you even also you can use your own instance method to initialize the members. So this is how you can initialize the all objects. See, whenever you have created an object, this object is responsible for assigning the values. Like we need to assign the values of a class, right? All we need to do is assign values to the data members. So all right, let's move to the next one. Difference between constructors and regular methods. So first one, so the important difference between constructors and a method is that constructors create and initialize the objects that don't exist yet. That means we have not created any objects. So if you want to create a new object, we will use the constructors. So while the methods perform the operations on the objects that already exist. That means, right, the methods, like we were saying about the differences between the methods and constructors, while methods will work on the objects which are already created. Like the methods will perform operations on the objects that are already created, right? So constructors cannot be called directly. We cannot call the constructors like with the help of object, like object dot recta. See in the previous slide, you can see in the previous slide. I will show you in the previous slide. We never called rect a constructor. You see two constructors are here, right? Default constructor and parameter constructor. And we never called with the help of rect one dot rect a. We have not called anywhere. You see here in the entire program. So that means you cannot call the constructors directly. They are called implicitly when the new keyword is used. When the new keyword is used. Methods can be called directly with the help of the object. The definition of a constructor and the methods look like same. They can have the parameters. They can have both can have the different modifiers like public, private, and protected, and they can have the different method bodies also. Right? Constructors must be named with the same name as class name. They can't written anything. Even void is you can put no problem. Even void you cannot use, right? So methods must be declared to return something, although it can be void. So we'll see the static members in the next class. Hope you have understood the class. In the whole class, what we discussed is how to create an object. What is an object we have seen, and what is a class we have seen. An object is a real world entity which is different from all other objects. A class is a collection of same type of objects. Later we have seen class syntax, and then followed by how to create an object we have seen, and then how to use that object in the program we have seen. And we have seen how to declare the data members and member functions, and we also seen how to write the constructors, right? With this I'll end the class. So thank you all.